Okay, in this next video, now that we have our data in here, we're going to go over how to clip and clean up some of this data so we can start making it a little bit more relevant to us. So I've got a few layers in here, got parcels, floodplains, Travis County, contours, and roads. And if we want to see kind of more of what we're looking at here, you can click on your layer and then right click, go to this attribute table. And here it's actually going to tell you what data it all has embedded. So for contours, if I zoom in here and I want to know what the elevation is for this one, I can just click on it. And it will tell me in here what the elevation is. So sometimes you have to look up what some of these codes can mean, but most of the time they're pretty reliable. And we can also right click here and go to properties if we need to know more about this data and see, where do I have it saved? Is it a shapefile? Okay, it's a line. And what spatial reference it is. Now, this is a really important piece of information that I'm not going to go too much into detail right now. We'll cover a little bit about that later, but just make sure you know how to find where this is at. And then we have some more options here. I don't think we typically would need to use those for what we're doing. This can also be really useful, and this might be a little bit more nuanced. If this is something that you need to do later, like let's say I don't want all of these contours, I just want, I guess they're all in 10, but we can say, oh, I just want, from 500 to 800 or whatever. So if I'm in this attribute table, I can do select by attributes, and this is basically going to just filter out, and it can be a little bit confusing the way that it's laid out. But we're going to select what this column is called. So contour, elevation, we can do is equal to, is greater than, I guess we'll just do is greater than, and then I want to select, whatever my parameter is. In this case, I just said, okay, let's get contours where it's more than 500. And then I'm going to hit apply. And it'll take a moment to think. And if we zoom out, which you may not be able to tell since there's a lot of data going on, but you can see here it grabbed all of my contours that are greater than 500. So let's say this is the only data I want. I don't care about the rest of this going on here. I can right click on this, go to data, and export features. And I would just name it something like Austin contours 500 plus. Oops, sorry, that was the input. Name this one. And this is where you'll want to check your path and make sure that it's saving in your folder where you have all your shape files in your project. Okay, and I'm just going to hit OK. And what it's doing is it's just going to take all of these ones that I have selected and make them a new data file. So if I turn that off and then look here, you can just see that this is everything that we had selected there. So you probably won't have to use this too often, but it is kind of a useful trick to know how to use in certain cases where clipping or doing some of the other geo processes isn't really going to get what you need. So just briefly wanted to go into that. Now let's close out of that. We'll look at our roads. We've got the county and the floodplains here. So let's go ahead and clip something. And this is probably one of the most used tools that you will use in GIS. So I'm going to show you two ways how to clip. We're going to clip first just using this boundary of Travis County. Basically, we just want everything that's inside of Travis County. We don't care about anything else. And then the next one, we're actually going to make our own shapefile and use that to clip.